What's up, people? We started a podcast. I'm Em.
I'm Riker.
We are Haunted Smoke and Mirrors. You may know us from Those Meddling Mediums. We do ghost hunts on YouTube. But we started a podcast and the story is a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Our lives are just weird in general, but
Yeah,
we're here.
we had like an impromptu Ouija board session.
We wanted to talk to Zozo originally,
Yeah, we
just
wanted
for
to talk
like
to Zozo
fun.
on a fun, like, I don't know, date night in bed.
Yeah.
And Asmodeus came forward and was like, dude, I have things to tell you.
Need podcast now.
Yeah. And
Spelt it
if
out.
you guys are confused or don't know us from other content, we're psychic mediums. So this is like I guess a normal occurrence. It's weird saying that it's a normal occurrence that we just like talk to spirits, especially through
Yeah.
Ouija boards.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that has just been happening for a while. I guess it is just a normal thing, but I feel like it's also weirder to like be like we're gonna talk to Zozo, and then it's like Asmodeus,
Yeah, and if you guys don't know who Zozo is like
the Ouija
the
board
Ouija
demon.
board demon.
Yeah.
And the reason why his name is Zozo is because it's so easy to like spell his name on a Ouija board, which is why he is associated to such. Um, but he's like a very scary dark entity demon type thing. So like us just nonchalantly being like, yeah, we wanted to talk to Zozo, but he like wouldn't talk to us is like very chill,
Yeah.
very casual for something very unhinged.
Yeah.
So he would not talk to us though. We literally were like, okay, can we talk to Zozo? And it went over to yes. And we're like, okay, Zozo, what do you want to tell us? And then they like started saying things that like didn't make sense, and we're like, who are you?
Yeah, and then it went to
Asmodeus.
A, and I heard Asmodeus in my head, and then it like spelt like
Mm-hmm.
it out, and I was like, "Yep, I'm Asmodeus." And then he started telling us things about like
For
our
business.
business and content things that we were apparently supposed to do. The first thing being start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally set up a space down here in the basement.
Yeah, what's up? If you're on YouTube, come check out our like our trinkets.
Look at all of our trinkets. Yeah, we like redecorated everything down here and set this up to be like our impromptu podcast area.
Yeah, the Patreon people got the like before and now the after. They get all of the like scoop. So if you're interested in what it looked like before, join Patreon down below.
I mean, just join Patreon for even other reasons because we
Yeah,
do a
there's a
bunch of
lot of
cool stuff.
reasons.
Lots of cool perks. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to start a podcast because we had talked about potentially starting one like
Yeah,
forever ago. So
we
it
were
felt
like,
like a natural thing for us to do. But
yeah, we were just like, we have too much to do. There's too much going on. And then all of a sudden, this like daemon, which Asmodeus is also a scary daemon thing,
yeah,
came forward and was like, you need to do this. Like, if a normal person, like, had both of these demons, like Zozo and Asmodeus, talk to them through a Ouija board,
eh,
they would be scared.
yeah, I think they pooped their pants.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh no, you're gonna hold my play and like throw me across the room."
Yeah.
But like, we like to call them our board meetings with spirit.
Yeah, because
Get it?
also I feel like if you're like scared about demons, they're not scary like I feel like most people try to make them out to be. Like we didn't like sell our souls or do any like weird shit. We were just like hanging out and this Asmodeus just gave us business advice.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times people deem them demons because they are associated to like things that people are uncomfortable with.
Hmm.
So like the angel of death, a daemon. Or like what does this Modius deal with? Is he
Um,
like gluttony? Because I always see him as like
no,
the
I don't.
fly. Oh wait, no, that's
That's
Beelzebub.
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 Yeah. Asmodeus, I
Forget
looked
what
it up.
Asmodeus is. He's like the
He
king of
deals with,
demons.
yeah, he's the king of demons in Jewish, Christian, and Muslim stories, and he's often depicted with different powers, including invading a couple's lives, seeing the future, shapeshifting, and causing chaos. Which, like, it's just like a quick thing.
Mm-hmm. But
But
it's just like Beelzebub supposedly is one of the seven deadly sins. So
he's, um, Asmodeus is classified as the demon of lust.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember talking to you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like things that people deem as like bad, evil, whatever. But a lot of times those souls entities, they help you to understand like problems that you may be having in your life. So I don't know if you have like, I don't know, the angel of death coming in and telling you secrets about your life, it might be in association to you have a lot of change that you need to go through.
Mhm.
Because death doesn't need to mean like you're gonna die. It's more so there's gonna be a lot of like rebirth in your life. And that's a hard thing for people to deal with, but a lot of times like dark things, whether it be like scary daemon dark things, like very
Yeah.
powerful things, versus like little things that people would refer to as like attachments or whatever. They're in your life to help you with some sort of like traumatic thing that's going on.
Yeah, I don't know, I feel like it was specific that Asmodeus came to help us too, because like, we had started, like, our YouTube channel, but then, like, our lives got, like, so crazy that
Mm-hmm.
we haven't been able to, like, fully keep up with Smoke and Mirrors, so we've still been doing Meddling Mediums,
Yeah.
but doing, like, both channels, we kind of hit pause on Smoke and Mirrors,
Yeah,
but
'cause
we've been
there's so
wanting to
much
get
going
back
on.
into it, so it was kind of, like, confirmation validation that, like,
You'll have more time.
you have more time to do these things now, you can do it, it's, like, now's the right time
Yeah.
to do it, so
Yeah, exactly. Because things are becoming more constructive versus like we went through a
destructive, yeah.
reset for a really long time.
Yeah,
So it was
very
hard
much.
to like start things because things needed to end before they could like restart, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I don't know, the last couple months have been they've just been crazy. We've been dealing with a lot of, like, personal things that have just been
Yeah.
very difficult, um, and then we've been, like, focused on meddling mediums of, like, making sure we can going on ghost hunts and,
Yeah.
like,
There's
doing
been a
all of
lot of
that, like
change in our business that we weren't
yeah, like,
expecting.
I lost my full-time job and just kind of got thrust into being a full-time content creator, like
Yeah.
that.
And it was just
So,
very like we need to make sure that meddling mediums continues to consistently
yeah,
put out content, and that's taking priority because we like need content right now, and it's
yeah.
not, I don't know, ghost hunting for meddling mediums, it's a lot harder than just walking down into the basement and doing a podcast.
Yeah, we've
It
been
takes a lot
having,
of
like,
planning.
a lot of, like, weird issues lately with, like, ghost hunting. Like, we still are able to make videos, but it's like, I don't know, our guides are, like, muting a lot of, like, our mediumship at times, so it's, like, been,
Yeah.
like, difficult.
Well, it's been weird because they keep telling us like huge changes coming in June. We don't know what that means necessarily, but I feel like April and on, we've been feeling almost like we're in this like dark shadow or like a bubble. And I don't know about me, but I feel like you also have the same thing with your spirit guide. We both have a black
Mhm.
spirit guide. And we usually associate spirit guides with colors. So black usually deals with keeping things hidden, things that you don't want to see, you keep them hidden. It's usually like traumas.
Yeah.
But it's like they are putting this black, like sticky cloud around us, which
Mhm.
makes mediumship really, really hard. Because even like before, because right now I feel like things are talking through the cloud.
Yeah.
Prior to that, nothing.
Yeah, I've been able to, like, hear things a bit more for the last, like pretty much since like February, it's been very like
Yeah,
hard to do mediumship at all.
yeah.
Like even hearing things, like I've been a pretty like clairvoyant person. I can see a lot of things, but
Mm-hmm.
seeing things has been hard, especially the last couple weeks. Like the last couple ghost hunts we've gone on have
Yeah.
been like really like difficult with that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like you said, it sounds like it's kind of going through the bubble. Which, if you watch any of our like middling mediums videos and like vlogs and stuff, we've been talking about this bubble throughout, like, some of the videos, so you'll know, like, kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It started happening since we went to Fairfield.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Fairfield on has been kind of, like,
Weird.
dealing with this bubble, but it's like our spirit guides are very much, like, controlling the bubble, like you said, like, our black spirit
Yeah.
guides, but also our other spirit guides are, like, doing it as well. Because
Yeah.
it's like when we're at a location, the bubble is there until we go to a specific area at that location, and they'll like release the bubble and then we'll get activity. Otherwise, it's like
Mhm.
we don't get activity. Our mediumship doesn't really do anything. Like it's like all like everything is just dark. Everything's turned off until we go exactly where our spirit guides want us to go,
Mhm.
and then it's like we get activity.
Yeah, and this is like the topic that I want to talk about today is like confidence issues with mediumship because we've been dealing with that a lot, especially with this like bubble thing that's been happening.
Mhm.
Because we got this new spirit guide. Both of us share the same spirit guide, which is not common, is what I've noticed. But I
But
don't normally read multiple people at once. So I don't know.
I don't feel like it's common, but also if you guys are like newish to like the channel or
Yeah,
like this is your first
all
time,
of
like
this.
yeah, all of this, we are also soulmates. So like a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff that we do is kind of intrinsically tied together.
Mm-hmm.
So because like you've read people who are like twins and stuff who share spirit guides.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah. Soulmate things are weird.
yeah.
Um, but we share this spirit guide, and he came forward during one of the very pivotal like moments in meddling mediums
Mhm.
history. So when that happened, it was like everything on meddling mediums started changing. Our content was changing. The people involved were changing. So this new spirit guide came forward, and we knew he was gonna come forward because we were seeing him for a few like weeks prior,
Mhm.
but it's kind of like they slowly come in, and once they're like ready to like talk to you, it's like like a nail on
Yeah.
the head sort of thing.
Yeah, because we had known about him for a while.
Yeah.
And because he's like a purple spirit guide, purple black, right? Is that
I see him as black,
black? I see him as like
but
like
maybe
a
it's more
dark,
than that.
like a very dark purple black, like
Yeah.
very like blended. So
Yeah, he's different than like the Titan dude that I have. Cause
yeah,
like I have this Titan dude that I was talking about that puts a bubble around us. He looks like hardened lava and he has like blue glowing through him.
my
But
my black spirit guide to me looks like a just like an obsidian person almost.
hmm but this new spirit guide that came forward like February, is that when we went to Fairfield? It was like a
Yeah,
little bit prior to that, like January is when he
like
came
end of
forward.
January is when he fully stepped forward. Yeah,
And he's a seraph. Sorry, I'm like asking him questions.
yeah.
Because I'm like, I never see you with colors, but I also don't associate you as a black spirit
Because
guide.
for a while we called him the magician.
Yeah, I called him the magician because he like showed himself initially to
Hmm.
me like with a top hat
Yeah,
and like a tuxedo with like tails.
yeah, and even with like um I don't know, whenever like I would get tarot readings or like do readings, he would always use the magician card
Yeah,
when
because
talking, like coming up and talking.
a lot of times spirits will use like different signs and symbols in tarot to communicate information to me.
Hmm.
So when I get the magician is usually you have the resources and talents in order to do things. It's kind of like I'm going to manifest things in front of you because it's the
Hmm.
card of manifestation.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, oh, you're a lot. You're also really rude and like dark. And he told us that he was a dark seraph, because seraphim is the plural of that.
Hmm.
And if you don't know what that is, it is the highest ranking of angel.
Yeah.
So the spirit guide coming forward, he is like big shit.
Hmm.
And he controls a lot of shit. So when we go into ghost hunting locations, he is controlling where we're going, and the way he is doing that is he literally sucks the energy out of a room when we're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people keep saying that it's because they're trying to like keep us safe and all of that. He is literally trying to force us into the places that he
Yeah.
wants us to. Because once we're in the right spot, lots of activity.
Yeah. Because I don't know if he was like trying to keep us more safe, like when we went to Fairfield, for instance, when we were trying to investigate other areas of the building, we weren't getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like we go up to the dungeon
Yeah.
to talk to the medium and like that was like the craziest like Estes session that we've had. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was crazy. And what's interesting is this like dark entity me demon at Fairfield Infirmary was kind of like bowed down to this spirit guide
yeah.
because of how high ranking he is, cuz
Hmm.
he literally can do whatever he wants. Like if he wants to prevent the me demon from being there, poof, gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like he literally takes the activity out of a place.
Yeah, which it took us it's been we've been trying to, like, figure out exactly, like, how to tell ahead of time when the bubble's gonna happen, because it really has been, like, messing with our mediumship and, like, our confidence,
Yeah.
like,
Well, he could just tell us. But I don't know. He could just tell us.
he could just tell us, but that would take away the fun for him, so
Yeah, I don't know. What's weird is when we get into a spot, you can like metaphysically hear all of the energy being pulled out of a room, and it
mhm,
sounds like when you blow up a balloon and let go of it,
mhm,
that like weird
yeah.
sputter sound.
Yeah, because
Um,
I don't know, it sounds like there's, like, ambient noise, like, there's just,
yeah,
like, basic ambient noise that you would hear just, like, standing in, like, an empty building, and then all of a sudden it is, like, no sound exists.
yeah,
And so then it's like, "Okay, are we supposed to be here?" Like, we can try to force things, but it's so difficult.
yeah. So like half the time I've been walking around these places, and a normal thing for me to walk around a location is I see things. I see people walking around, things start talking to me. Since Fairfield, I have not felt like a medium walking through these places.
Yeah, I haven't really felt like a medium either. I mean,
Yeah,
we've had talks about it where I've been like, "I feel like my mediumship is just, like, gone to shit." Like,
yeah,
I
and
feel
it's
like it
because of
is,
all the
like
shit that's going on.
yeah,
But it
because
also just triggers a lot of the insecurities we already have.
mhm. 'Cause I don't know, like, all the like, we've gone to several locations, like, before we went to Fairfield, and, like, we were getting crazy activity, like, things were happening, and, like, the videos and the places that we've gone, we still have gotten activity, but it's been nowhere near, like, the level that it was
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah, we could go anywhere and get activity
Yeah,
prior to Fairfield.
and it's been, like, very spotty, like, we just went to a place the other week, and it was, like we got very little activity. Even, like, when we were allowed to get activity, it was, like, very
Simplistic.
simple,
Yeah.
which that could also just be the location, obviously, but,
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
when we went to Randolph County, since, like,
That's out.
that's out now, so I can talk about it. A bunch of other, like, creators were have posted their videos,
Yeah. The
and, like
scariest asylum in
yeah,
Indiana or
and,
some shit.
our, like, YouTube members are being like, "Oh my gosh, this video is crazy," and we're, like, talking about it, and I was sitting there, like, editing the video, and I was like, "All of these other people got such crazy activity, and I feel like we didn't," and,
Yeah,
like
it's because we walked around for like an hour and a half trying to find it.
yeah, but, I mean, even, like, our guest that came with us to Randolph, my friend
Yeah.
Jay, like, he went to Madison with us and saw, like, all the activity, everything that was happening,
Yeah.
and went to Randolph and, like, saw that, like, we weren't getting anything, and, like, he could even, like, notice and feel the bubble,
Mm-hmm.
so, like, it was really which it was
Different.
kinda nice to have, like, the validation for that,
Yeah.
but it was very, like, I
Like,
don't
what
know.
is happening?
Yeah.
So, if you guys don't know, we've been trying to do this thing that we saw on the internet.
Yeah.
If you don't know Cody and Satori, we've been trying to figure out how to
Do the
do
knocking
something
method.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the knocking method.
Yeah, so and if you don't know, like, who they are, they're people who we think they're soulmates. I think they call themselves soulmates or something too. But
I think they're
re
soulmates for sure.
regardless, they are a couple that when they hold hands, they, like, go through the alphabet and knocks happen that correspond to the letters, and it allows spirit to, like, communicate with them, almost like a human Ouija board.
Yeah, it's paranormal, like disembodied, like footsteps
Yeah,
and like weird activity, but it's primarily knocking things that happen when they touch. And
yeah,
it can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to be a haunted location. It can happen outside, anywhere.
yeah, wherever they go, if they, like, do it, things will happen.
Yeah, and me and Riker watched that and we are like, wait a second, we're soulmates. We could do that. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem hard.
I mean, even our guides and, like, spirit
Yeah,
teams were
they
also
keep
like,
telling us that we can
"This
do
is what
it.
you guys do." So, we feel like the bubble coincides with
Yeah,
keeping us from doing it because they
yeah,
keep
because
saying "right place, right time."
in the Ouija board, it said it prohibits the knocking method.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I think the closer we get to June, because last year they kept telling us that
June
June
was
was
important.
important.
Yeah.
but they just forgot to mention that it was this June, not last June.
Yeah, they didn't specify which June because I don't know, like, they were telling us, like, crazy like, that wild things were gonna happen,
Yeah, in a
and
very short amount of time.
yeah, so we were like,
Like June is in like 3 weeks.
how are we gonna do this?" But I don't know, like, they just have kept, like, telling us and building up to, like, June's gonna be crazy, and we kept not believing it because again, I don't know, believing mediumship and premonition things are
Well,
difficult,
they
but
refer to it as an illogical opportunity.
mhm,
It's like something that like luck would be weird to like use as a word for that to happen
yeah,
because it's just so like bonkers delusional
yeah,
shouldn't happen type thing, and we're just like that seems delusional.
yeah, I don't know. It's felt like the last year has they've been just, like, weirdly, like, preparing us for this thing,
Yeah,
and, like, I'm still very, like, skeptical if anything's gonna happen
yeah,
just
same.
because they told us last June it was gonna happen in
But it
June, and I know
didn't.
that it was the wrong June, but nothing happened.
But at the same time you second guess that because everything is happening so coincidentally,
Yeah,
it's like astronomical.
yeah, I don't know, like, they were telling us that, like, things were gonna happen in May, and we were like, "We don't know how all these things are gonna happen in May," and now, like,
Hmm.
our, like, schedule for May is, like, booked.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I
we're
also shared this on like Patreon. I have like one of my spirit guides that's counting
yeah,
weeks, and we literally just started counting. Like I randomly started singing this song, which is
mhm,
like one,
1, 2,
two,
buckle
buckle
my
my shoe.
shoe.
However, that rhyme, they changed the words for me. So I just started randomly singing
Mhm,
different words than the lyrics that are actually from that song. And I just kept being like, okay, we're on week 11, we're on week 12. When are we going to stop counting?
yeah,
And at week 12, they started having me sing a different song,
yeah,
which
the
is
hickory dickory dock.
Hickory Dickory Dock. The mouse
Mouse
went
went down.
down the clock.
Yeah, the clock struck 12, the mouse went down. Yeah,
Hickory Dickory Dock.
yeah,
So
we've been
once,
counting down
yeah.
now,
So now we're counting down from 12.
and it just so
We
happens that the final week, like, week 1, is
aligns with June.
aligns with, like, the first, like, couple days of June.
Yeah, we didn't know we were counting. We didn't know when it was supposed to start counting because I was singing that for a
We
few
didn't know what it
weeks.
was like, what the counting was, like, fully tied to even.
Yeah,
It was just,
it
"We're
just
counting."
it literally defines like what happens in the week. It's like a hint because they can't
Mhm.
tell us because if they told us it would like infringe upon our free will. It would like
Yeah,
make us feel like we had to do something else.
but it has been very
Accurate.
accurate
Yeah.
since, like, we started counting up and then down,
Like
like
3-4 is out the door and we're doing traveling during that
yeah,
time.
like
We are out the
yeah,
door.
we will, like, not be home.
Yeah. So it's like it corresponds, but the thing that's wild is we literally just started randomly counting one day. We had no idea what we were counting to. We hit 12 and then started counting down, and it just
So happy.
lines up with the first week of June
Yeah,
because like May finishes that week and then
and June
June starts in the
begins.
middle of it.
Yep.
So it's like
Mhm.
coincidental things are happening, and I feel like the closer we get to June, the thicker this cloud is happening and the weirder our gifts are happening.
Yeah,
Because, like, I would say last week, nothing. It's just thick cloud. I couldn't see
yeah.
anything.
I mean,
And
that's
now
part
things
of
are talking through the cloud.
that's I feel like I mean, that's part of why we started, like, using the Ouija boards more because we haven't really used the Ouija boards besides, like,
Yeah,
live
they
streams.
usually just tell us.
Yeah. So, it's been just very, like, because we would just have, like, communication like you and I are talking to, like, spirits, guides, whoever,
Hmm.
like, about what was going on. Sometimes we would do tarot readings, but, like, even, like, for me, like, even reading tarot has been, like, so challenging.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
weird.
tarot, oracle, like, Ouija
Can't
boards
see
is
anything.
yeah, Ouija boards is, like has been the best form lately, but even it's not our normal guides coming through talking
Yeah,
to us, it's Asmodeus.
yeah, it's
Like, we haven't
literally,
talked to Asmodeus really like, until, like, the Ouija board.
yeah, because this Titan spirit guide that came forward literally will not let me talk to anyone other than him. Like, none of my other spirit guides, I can't see them unless I do what this black spirit guide Titan dude tells me.
Mhm.
which his name is Houdini, so I'm just gonna refer to him as Houdini. He told me that through a spirit talker app, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been struggling with our mediumship, and doing this has been like triggering issues that we already have. Because when you're a medium, a lot of times you don't really believe that it's happening
Yeah.
because it's so crazy. Like, one of the ways to develop your mediumship is to get validation. Because half the time when you get information, you're like, this can't be real. I can't just know things about people. I can't just know things about their like past loved ones, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you tell someone, you're like, how did I know that? Maybe I knew that because like what you're wearing, who you are, like
Mhm.
maybe I just like made that up. So having this thick cloud, we're like, maybe we just made it all up. Maybe we still
Yeah.
are.
Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. It's been just making me frustrated just because I don't know. I haven't been doing like mediumship like this for like super long because I started like developing and like really like leaning into everything January of last year
Hmm.
of 2023.
Yeah.
So,
And I started maybe 2 years ago.
yeah. So there was already like a lot of like confidence issues and like imposter syndrome and self-doubt with like
Yeah.
starting and then like 9 months into like being like maybe I am a psychic medium. Like we started meddling mediums and started like doing things like
Hmm.
I started like actually like creating content around it and like
Yeah.
actually going to places and doing mediumship, not just sitting in my mom's house
Yeah. Doing
doing
ghost
it.
hunts usually are very validating for people that are
Yeah.
mediums because they're like, I just saw something. Like Jay that we took
Oh yeah.
to Randolph,
Randolph.
he's a medium. He doesn't like do it professionally. It's just something that passively happens.
Yeah.
He saw something physically and he
Mhm.
was like shitting himself
Yeah.
because he normally experiences a mediumship in his head.
Yeah, and I mean that was very much like my first experience going to a ghost hunt because my first ghost hunt was Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. So,
Hmm.
like, and we saw a lot of like physical shit there.
Yeah,
And then now it's just like nothing.
yeah.
So I'm like, well,
Ghost hunts are very validating for people that are mediums or
yeah.
sensitive or just in general.
So I don't know. It's just the fact that now there's like, it's hard to see or get anything. And I feel like it's so just, I don't know, all over the place. It's been very like frustrating.
Yeah, it's been weird because it's just like, is this actually really happening? This all seems like really crazy. And you also have like spirit guides telling you, like, this thing that doesn't make any sense is about to happen. So you're like, I feel even more crazy for thinking
Hmm.
that, like, A, I deserve that. B, something like that's going to actually happen. We think that this has been happening for a while. We've been having like decisions based upon this thing happening, and we
Yeah.
don't even really know what it is.
Yeah.
We just think we're going to do the knocking method and we think something's going to happen in relation to that, but I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. They just keep telling us that we're gonna trust fall and that
Yeah,
we need to trust fall into
literally trust fall.
everything. But it's also like scary because
Yeah,
it's like we're supposed to trust fall into like something crazy because like spirit says so. Like,
yeah. But I don't know. I've been having confidence issues as well. And it's kind of like when I have confidence issues about mediumship, a lot of times when I do readings for people, there are different types of people that I read.
mhm,
And one of the people is like when people want everything that you say to be true. So you'll say, like, do you like ladybugs or something like that?
mhm,
And they'll be like, oh my God, I saw a ladybug like on May 3rd, like 5 years ago, and I
yeah,
was like cooking this. Should I cook it again? That sort of thing. So they
yeah,
like force it to fit when in actuality, like maybe I'm just wrong. Like I'm a medium, I'm a
yeah,
person, I can be wrong. Like that's fine, that's great. But it's hard for me to be like, what parts are validated and what parts aren't validated because there's a lot of people that are just so excited to be read that they
mhm,
just want me to be right.
yeah,
So there's that sort of aspect, but there's also the aspect of like maybe I'm just reading into like what they look like or like everybody does the body language thing.
mhm,
a lot of people, debunkers, whatever, have to be like, oh, well, you just like are reading people's body language, and because you're doing that, you just know things.
Yeah, or you're just giving like general statements that can fit
Yeah.
everything.
Or you're asking
Yeah,
questions.
which for like the whole general statement things, I've found that I tend to like reduce the amount that I'm getting when I do get it because I'm like scared to like tell people like this person is telling me all of your trauma, all your deepest
Yeah, it's
secrets.
uncomfortable.
Because I'm also like, what
How
if,
should I know that?
yeah, how am I supposed to like tell you about like your deep rooted
Yes.
traumas that no one knows? And what if I'm wrong
Yeah.
about that? Like,
And also, is this triggering?
yeah, that's triggering. And also, I don't want you to think that I'm like diagnosing you with
Yeah,
anything,
literally.
like, because I don't know, it's very like
Personal.
personal.
And people are not expecting that as a reading
Yeah,
for a lot of times, because a lot of times they're like, tell me about my future, tell me about these people that I like miss.
yeah,
But then you talk to their spirit guides, and their spirit guides are like, when you were 11, like, you had issues with being bullied.
yeah. You were bullied by everyone around you,
And
and
this is how you felt.
yeah, and
But you
it's
told no one that. I just know that.
yeah,
So when I get things like that, I usually ask questions, because a lot of times, again, debunkers will be like, "You are asking questions, so you're fishing." I a lot of times will ask questions to soften a blow because it's uncomfortable, especially like if I'm talking to someone that's dead and they tell me how they die. I'm like,
yeah,
that's triggering.
yeah. I don't know. I This is kind of like a like side note type thing, but I don't know. I It makes me like super uncomfortable when someone like asks me to talk to their dead relative that passed like within the last week
Mhm.
because I'm I understand how like that could be a comfort to someone, but I'm like I don't want to one be wrong and hurt you,
Yeah.
or two like make your grieving process worse.
Mhm.
Like 'Cause obvious like, I don't know, if it's, like, someone who hasn't died necessarily recently, it's different, but, like, we've had people, like, come into streams or whatever, and, like, they've had, like, someone who was, like, died, like, "My someone I knew died last night, can you talk to them?" And I'm like, "That feels too recent for me, I don't know if I can do
Yeah.
that, I don't know if I
There's
want to,"
a
like
lot of mediums. I've read people's websites that are like, I will not do readings for people that passed recently. You need to process that first. I also have heard people like mediums being like, oh, well, they're busy in heaven doing things and they won't talk to them
yeah,
until later. I don't think they're necessarily doing things because they're outside of physical time, so they can
yeah,
like do that and come back to the same point. But like it's a lot of pressure, and that's another thing that like goes into the stigma of being a medium that a lot of people don't understand is you have so much pressure on you to be right because everyone thinks that if you're wrong, you're going to hurt people, you're manipulating people.
yeah,
And that's why I'm like, I could be wrong every time I like do readings, because I'm like,
yeah,
I need you to understand I'm not like the person that's going to tell you the lotto numbers and be correct. I'm not the person that's going to tell you what's going to happen to you in 5 years.
yeah,
Like, that's not what's I'm not gonna be completely accurate. Like,
yeah,
we are literally mediumship is like playing charades inside your head where
mhm,
you're also playing charades. So, it's like, how are you going to interpret the information? Is it gonna be right? You also don't know this person. Are you interpreting it wrong for this person? Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I don't know, because typically, I don't know, I prefer talking to, like, spirit guides, past lives, or even, like, spirits at locations, but the
Yeah.
amount of pressure of talking to people's, like,
As
past
relatives
relatives is,
is
like
because of the
it's
stigma.
yeah, it's a lot, especially because I don't know, like, there are people who are like, "Well, if someone is struggling with mental health and
Yeah.
they ask you about, like, their, like, past loved one and you tell them that, like, they're okay now that they've, like, passed, like, and that
Mhm.
person does something, it's your fault. So I'm
Yeah.
like
I've had a lot of people be like, "Oh, you make the like afterlife seem so good. Why should I stay here?"
yeah.
And it's like that's not how that works.
No, it's I don't know. To me, I view, like, mediumship and connecting with spirits, like, yes, it's, like, proof and it might be a comfort knowing that, like, everything is still fine afterwards, but it gives me more motivation to, like, keep living because you can still live a full life and you don't have to, like, give it up. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, it's like a lot of souls that choose to do that, they get stuck in a place because they couldn't deal with whatever was going on.
Yeah,
So it's like, are there souls that don't have an issue with it? I'm sure, but like that is a huge decision to do. And I guess trigger warning.
yeah,
But like it's not going to be the way that you think it is because your soul doesn't feel ready to do that. It's
yeah,
hard to like shift that fast. Does that make sense?
yeah. Oh, I
When
don't
you
know.
pass naturally, it
It's a lot different.
mhm.
I don't know, like, like, at I'm using, like, the example of Randolph, like, Ida Gunkel from Randolph County, like,
Mhm.
she hung herself in her, like,
Yeah.
in the room, and they felt like she was stuck there, and when we, like, went there and were talking to her, it very much was because, like, she was dealing with so much, and no one seemed to be able to, like, fully understand her,
Mhm.
and it was very different than when we talked to, like, Doris from
Yeah.
there, like,
She's a cook.
she wasn't stuck there, she, like, even, like, they were
Yeah.
at the same place during the same time,
Yeah.
but Doris died more naturally versus Ida, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I also realized that we're, like, ADHD, like, jumping all over the place talking
Yeah.
about things.
This is listen, this is how I want the podcast to happen. I want it to happen very, very naturally. I want you guys to like feel like you're in our basement with us talking about stuff
Yeah.
with a
So
very, very loose topic. But they also like one of the things that they've told us prior is doing ghost hunts because we've had so many like past traumatic
mhm.
past lives. We relate to a lot of different souls in these locations that have also had really traumatic things happen to
Yeah.
them. So like both of us had dealt with that sort of mindset
Mhm.
going into a place where someone is like dealing with those mental thoughts. She's going to relate to us and that understanding because I've had like as a medium I've had people approach me with situations like that and I know I'm tiptoeing around the word and it's because I don't want it to like
Yeah, get
get
flagged or anything. Yeah.
demonetized, blocked, whatever. Um, but I've had people like approach me for that, and I've had souls come to me personally and be like, you helped me, so I'm going to help you.
Mhm.
My life was very similar to your life. You dealt with this like feeling like you had to have so much pressure over your head. So that's why you felt like you weren't good enough because you couldn't be perfect. I felt the same thing,
Mhm.
and I can tell you right now that when you feel like you have lost everything, the only way that you can lose everything is if you also lose your life.
Yeah.
So they're like, you will never regain anything if you lose the one thing that you can't regain.
Mhm.
That's what this soul told me. And me going to like haunted locations with stuff like that, with a person like that, they go through my head, see that, they
Yeah.
understand, I get it now. I understand what it's like to do that because when you're stuck in a place as a soul, you still have human ego.
Mhm.
So you don't see everything and understand everything. It's not until you walk into the light where you are at
Yeah.
peace, so to speak.
Yeah. No, exactly.
So just that like idea helped me as a person living so much so that it's going to help someone that's passed too. And that's gonna help someone cross over. But
Yeah.
it's our relations as human beings is going to help other people, but it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. It's a lot. I don't know. There's been a lot of just, like, I don't know, I've just gone back and forth with, like, feeling confident in my mediumship and, like, what we're doing to, like, second guessing what we're doing. Especially, like, I don't know, we've gotten some, like, hate for what we're doing, which, like, I wasn't which I know, like, very much comes with the territory of being a content
Yeah,
creator and, like,
but
putting
for
yourself
you,
out on the internet.
it happened very, very quickly
Yeah.
because
So
I started prior to you. My community came here.
yeah,
This channel acts a
is
lot bigger than it is.
yeah, because I mean, within the first it was we started, like, meddling mediums in October, and it was in December.
Yeah.
that
I hate video.
we got like yeah, like a hate video,
Yeah.
people like talking about us, and then like since then we've we've gotten a lot of we've been attacked quite a bit in like our
Yeah.
comments and stuff.
And I
So
should
it's
preface this goes along with like the Cody and Satori stuff because they're
yeah,
getting a lot of like
yeah,
controversy
and it was and
and we support
yeah,
them.
and we were in support, and we still are in support of
Yeah, I still think
what they
it's
do.
real.
Yeah, we
Literally
stand by that. It's real.
watched them do their method barefoot
Yeah.
on chairs. I didn't not like doubt them ever.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, we've had people be like, "Well, if you, watch this or look into this person, like, they debunked it," and
No one can really agree on what the debunking is. There's so
yeah,
many
they can't
different things it
agree,
could be.
and I've kept pretty close tabs on,
Yeah,
what has been happening because, like, I still believe that they are real, but
yeah.
if something if
If they do
concrete evidence came out
debunk
that
it,
that it was fake, I would own up to it.
yeah,
I'm not afraid of being wrong.
yeah.
We're
We're like
mediums. We're not
in support of debunkers.
yeah.
It's just if it crosses the line from like I'm trying to prove this paranormal phenomenon is not paranormal to I'm bullying you and sending harassment to you,
Yeah,
that is an issue.
because I don't know, the video that was made about us, I would have been, more cool with it if it was more
These things are
these things aren't
debunking
yeah,
what you're
are,
doing.
debunking, and it's, actually, looking at it from, I don't know, an unbiased type view, but a
Yeah,
lot of it was just attacking, how we look, how we talk, so it's hard for me to, be in support of,
that
you
type of thing.
of that type of thing when it's and not every channel is like that,
Yeah,
there have been channels that I've watched who,
yeah, the
have
debunking community has gone crazy
it's
right
all over
now.
the place. But,
Yeah,
there are, several channels who, do very much look at it as, just,
here are the
scientific,
facts.
here are the facts, and, leave, other things out of it, and I do, I
Yeah,
have a lot of respect for that because I think the actual
debunking is
debunking and going through it is, it's necessary, it's needed, and it's a good thing.
yeah, it's just a bit scary like seeing people in our niche like getting like death
Death
threats.
threats. Yeah, I don't
That's scary. That's like the harassment that everyone's talking about like needs to stop.
yeah, because whether you believe in, mediums, mediumship, Cody and Satori, that is, your own personal thing, and that is completely
Yeah.
fine, I don't care, it doesn't bother me if, you don't believe, and I don't wanna I'm not trying to force anyone to think that we're, 100%
Yeah,
real,
exactly.
it's up to your own beliefs and interpretation, and that is completely fine, but, taking it steps farther than that
Having debunkers like
yeah,
saying things like threatening things for people to be wrong
mhm,
in like our niche as mediums is frightening
yeah,
because again we already have those insecurities of if we're wrong it could negatively impact people and like we're mediums, we're people, we can be wrong. I want to like instill that into people as much
yeah.
as possible.
Well, I mean, everyone talks about mediumship "Oh, well, if you're, a psychic medium, then
You should already know.
you should already know about this, and why haven't you won the lottery?"
Yeah,
There's been the thing where there's a code word in an
yeah,
envelope, a sealed envelope, and no medium can get it right, and that's not how mediumship works,
yeah, yeah. It's like why didn't you see it coming, like that sort of thing
yeah,
is what people say to mediums
we're
all the
humans, we still have ego. There are, biases from, your upbringing, your life, there are so many other factors that, affect it.
yeah,
And
like
I feel like the second you stop looking at psychic mediumship as a magic 8 ball that can tell
yeah,
you every single
like
answer
a fortune
and it
teller.
needs to be 100% accurate,
Mhm.
I don't know, I view mediumship more as a tool to connect and learn and do more self-reflection
Yeah,
about what's
mediumship
going
is the
on.
thing that brings us all together, and that
Yeah.
is the difference between physical people versus past people. That is the thing that it should be doing. So, having all these debunkers coming in and being like threatening towards mediums being wrong instills that insecurity 10 times
Yeah,
over.
because I don't know, like again, we believe Cody and Satori are real. But for whatever reason, let's hypothesize that they are 100 they are fake.
Yeah.
I don't feel like anything that we've done by talking about how we saw things from our mediumship
Yeah.
is, like, scamming people, harming people, like, we try to preface, like, very heavily that, like, we can be wrong.
We
This
will
is
no
our
longer.
interpretation of
Yeah.
things, like, and we encourage everyone, like, I don't know, we heavily encourage our community to share, like, their opinions, and
Yeah.
many of our, like, community members have differing opinions about things, like, we have community members who are like, "I believe you guys, I believe in, like, mediumship, but it's hard for me to believe Cody and Satori," and that's
Mhm.
okay, like,
Yeah.
that's, like, I don't know, like, I'm also someone who is, like, a natural, like, skeptic for things, which I know might
Mhm.
seem weird to some people because 'cause I'm a psychic medium, but, like, I always, like, second guess everything that I'm saying mediumship,
Mhm. Yeah.
not not because I'm, like, making it up or doing anything, but just because
It's weird.
I'm like, "Okay, how am I getting this information? Is like, how much of this information is coming from me and my own head and my own biases, and how much of it is actually coming from spirit?"
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, like, I've been kind of, like, thrown into the deep end, like, you could tell me
Yeah.
a lot, but
Well, it's like
I don't know.
on the medium shows when they like go to houses, they specifically ask for you to take the pictures and stuff down because that takes away biases. And it's not to like be a party trick or whatever. When you have bias as a human being, it impacts your ability to do mediumship. So like we went to Randolph County Asylum and we were getting information and we were interpreting it as
As an
we
ass
are in an asylum.
Yeah,
So like a cook came to me and I was like, "Oh, you cook for people like here in the asylum, like you work here." And then we got there and they were like, "Oh, there's a like resident that lives here and she
yeah,
contributed to the poor farm
yeah, because it was
with
actually a poor farm.
cooking."
Or, like, I like, we thought we were going to an asylum.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was a poor farm
Yeah.
because, like, when we go to locations, like, before we actually get there, besides the name and maybe what the outside of the building looks like, we don't do any research
Yeah,
of, like,
cuz
what
it
happens.
makes mediumship harder.
Yeah. So, like, we go in blind.
Yeah.
So, like, usually, like, that's why we try to film, like, before the investigation, like, we'll film in the car, like, our first impressions when we get there, and it gets validated, like, at Randolph, I felt like there was, like, someone who, like, fell off the roof or was pushed off of the roof.
Yeah, but if you think it's an asylum, it may be because of mental health
Yeah,
issues.
but instead it was, and, like, I even was, like, pointing to the area where I felt like it was at, and instead it was someone was pushed out of the window below by other people.
Yeah, because they were at a poor farm and they were cleaning the
The window,
window.
yeah. So it's just, like, which is also why I like not fully knowing what's going on, like,
Yeah,
places because it makes it, I don't know, that
you don't interpret
yeah,
things. Because again, when you are doing mediumship, it is literally like playing charades. It's not like we are talking to each other and someone's just like Q&Aing me and is speaking to me
yeah.
interview style.
They're using signs and symbols, they're using, like,
Yeah, they're using our six psychic clairs, which is
yeah.
visual, auditory,
Mm,
scent, taste,
taste,
feeling,
feeling,
and
and thought.
thought.
Yeah,
So it can literally be anything, but at the same time, you're having your own thoughts. So you interpret the information. So if someone was like, we're going to play charades and it's going to be associated to Randolph County Asylum, your brain's going to be like, oh, everything's going to be associated to an asylum.
yeah,
So it's kind of your interpretation affects how you're going to interpret
yeah.
information.
Because I don't know, like, we've like, when we were talking about, like, when we first, like, reacted to the Cody and Satori stuff,
Hmm.
like, I, like, made a, like, they used, like, the sign and symbol of relating something to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Hmm.
So, when I said that, and that was very much a sign and symbol, like,
Yeah.
I do not think that is actually Avatar: The Last Airbender
Yeah,
happening.
we
We
got a
got comments
that
about,
comment is hilarious.
yeah,
That's one
like,
of my favorite hate comments, by the
yeah,
way.
"Oh, girl thinks," which one? I'm not a girl, I'm non-binary, thank you, but
Dude, it could be either one of us.
they're talking about me
It's
because
okay. 'Cause I don't
I
remember where it
no,
was.
I was the one who said
You
it.
read it to me
I
in
was the one who said it.
that
We were in
Twin
Twin
City.
City, yeah, we were in Twin City reading them, yeah. But it was like, "Oh, like, girl thinks Avatar: The Last Airbender is real," and I was like, "No, I don't think it's real." They were just using this sign
Signs
and
and symbol.
symbol of, like, what was happening,
Yeah.
of, like, to, like, give me information
Yeah.
about how
It's
it was
like
working.
earlier when our spirit guide came in as the magician, he manifests things. The
Yeah.
magician in tarot deals with manifestation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we're playing charades. That's
Mhm.
what mediumship is. It's
Yeah.
mind charades.
Or like when I don't know, like when we talk about dark entities, a lot of times they'll use like anime references
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
like Jujutsu Kaisen, like special grade like demons or whatever. Like
Mhm.
so it's I don't know, it's like it's things like that. Like it's signs and
Yeah.
symbols and references to like trigger you to understand
Yeah.
information.
It gives you a lot of information very, very quickly too,
Hmm.
because it's hard for you to just stay open and receive information. So if they can give it to you as fast as possible,
Yeah.
it's easier. So
Hmm.
if you have a sign and symbol, it can tell you a lot more. So if they tell you about like one of your past experiences, then it's going to give you more information very fast because you've already experienced it. So they're just like show you like a little of it and then the rest of it you already know. So you don't need to watch it happen in your head again
Yeah.
because it's not like watching a movie. It's not like sitting there having like daydreams about what's going on. That would take too long. Like if someone
Yeah.
asked you like questions about like their past relative, they're not sitting there like watching a 20-minute like video of a memory they had with you
Yeah.
there.
They're not like I was born this day at this time.
Yeah,
Here is my
there's
entire life
only so
story.
much you can know
It's
that
like,
fast.
we're gonna hit the, like, overarching bullet points, and I'm gonna use things that exist in your head to convey my message quickly so you understand what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
cause like we don't need to watch 3-hour videos about anything in our head. Also, I don't have the attention span for that.
I do, but I watch
Inside your head.
never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. When we go to locations, there's just a lot of like, I don't know, lots of like signs and symbols and things moving very fast. Because often there's also like lots of souls that are like around talking at once. Like, and hmm
obviously, I'm kind of talking about this pre bubble that we've dealt with because
yeah, the
the bubble
bubble
has
makes
made that
things
hard.
very hard.
But at like at Indiana, for instance,
Yeah.
there were like Indiana State Sanatorium, there was a lot going on there.
hmm
Like,
Yeah. And also, I should also say that like they open the bubble when we need it to. So like when they
yeah.
do readings, that's different. Like we went to the last location, which I don't want to spoil where we went,
Mhm.
but once we were done, because we were like scrying, spoiler alert, it's a
Spoiler
good one. That's
with
all you're gonna get from me.
with the big mirror up
Yes,
there.
up there. But we were scrying and we were seeing souls in the mirror and doing like our regular session. And then once we were done, because the bubble was off at that point,
Yeah.
I pick up the mirror and I literally saw my Titan Houdini spirit guide looking at me in the mirror. And I was like, do you see this dude with glowing blue eyes? And then I look at you and I'm like, is that my spirit guide? I've never seen him like that
Yeah,
before.
through scrying.
Yeah, I've never like it's weird too, because mediumship is weird. It's like the way in which you think, so everyone thinks differently.
Mhm.
And how I imagine things in my head is very different than like actually seeing things.
Mhm.
Cause I like it's like whole focused. So like I'll see just aspects of them and then I
Yeah.
just fill in the blanks in a knowing sort of information. So I don't need to see it. I just know what they look like.
Mhm.
Which is very hard for people to understand and to get unless you're inside my head.
Yeah, I don't know,
So
because when I'm seeing p like, if I'm seeing somebody, I usually see them, like, a bust up,
yeah.
so, like, I can see, like, the details in their face and what they look like, but if I wanna, like, pay attention to clothes, then I have to, like, look down.
Yeah, well it's like for me it's like everything is blurry
Mhm.
and I have a magnifying glass that like puts it on certain parts.
Yeah,
And it doesn't move unless I look at them, like unless I move it.
yeah,
And still then it's still like weird claircognizant thought-based things. So when I see my spirit guides physically, because it's easier for me to see things physically, so I ask my spirit guides to do that because it's easier for me to conceptualize seeing things physically. It's very different to
mhm,
see them because I don't know. It's
yeah,
like I can see them in like 3 dimensions
mhm,
versus this like weird 2D thought. I don't know.
yeah. No, I get that.
So seeing him in a mirror the second we were like done, it was just like confirmation that the bubble was back up. So
Yeah,
like they take the bubble off, but
yeah. And it's been at multiple locations,
Yeah.
like Fairfield, Randolph, and then the last most recent one we went to,
Yeah.
the last 3.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's like frustrating and weird, and it's just
Yeah.
triggering all of these like insecurities,
Mhm.
which is probably like why that's happening. Because if we actually figure out this like knocking method thing, we're gonna get a lot of eyes
Yeah.
potentially. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. So if you're watching this on like YouTube and stuff, let us know in the comments what you think is gonna happen because we like knowing.
Yeah, we like other
Yeah.
people's interpretations of things
Yeah.
because sometimes it's very validating
Or you
for
can
us.
join our Patreon
Yeah.
and be able and to join our like exclusive Discord server. And we
Yeah.
actually have dedicated
I
places
I added
talking
a
about
knocking method
yeah, where we
category.
talk about the knocking method. So we have like a brainstorming thing and like
Yeah, because I wanted to document it better,
yeah,
like in one spot.
yeah. So if you're interested in that, check out
It's down
Patreon.
below.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's just been a lot of like weird things with like mediumship and premonitions, like
Yeah.
because I don't know, like what we do in like videos and even like our live streams is like very much like surface level to like what like we get into privately.
Yeah, what we're experiencing because with
Yeah,
because the things that we're seeing are future things, so if we share a lot of that stuff,
it'll
it could affect if it happens or not.
yeah, which is why we're very like vague when we talk about it. Like
Uh-huh.
we plan on like doing like talking more in depth about everything that's happened once the things happen. Like at least I want to like,
Yeah.
but
Well, is this true?
yes.
Because, like, for example, we don't think the knocking method for us is going to just be knocking.
Yeah.
We think it's going to be a plethora of different
Mhm.
activity things going on. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at our other like content, we have a lot of weird like audible noise from spirit going on.
Mhm.
Like we went to Brushy, which was one of our first locations as meddling mediums, and we heard an audible moan
Mhm.
and someone like
Footsteps
footsteps
running behind us.
running behind us.
Mhm.
We went to Ashmore and the footsteps were so clear we thought it was an actual person running through the building.
Yeah, we thought it was one of the people who was there with us, like running through
Yeah,
the building.
like running at us.
Mhm.
It's not like a weird knockout in the background being like, "Oh god, did you hear that?"
Or like a mouse
Yeah,
somewhere. Like it was
it
like
was like they ran up to us and I
on
was like,
the
"Oh shit,
yeah,
something's coming to us."
yeah, like on the ground, like on the concrete ground right in front of us.
Yeah, like running. Like if
Mhm.
I was running, that's the sound that would happen, but no
Mhm.
one was there.
Yeah.
Or like we've been having light flickering. Like
Mhm.
I went to the Conjuring house and the lights were flickering.
Yeah.
So like all of these different things we think are potential for happening, as well as like Cody and Satori are physical mediums. They have to be touching, they have to be in the physical space. We're trans mediums.
We
It's a
don't
little bit different.
yeah, we don't think that we need to be like holding
Touching.
hands, touching necessarily.
We probably don't even need to be in the same space necessarily, but it like those things that are like we're being told by spirit, but we're not sharing because we're like, I don't know. They're also not
Yeah.
telling us all of it. So we're
Yeah.
like, is this even gonna happen?
Cuz I don't know. Cuz the other night we did like a live premiere for the
Yeah.
Randolph investigation and then after so like we were in Discord with some of our members like hanging out and then we were like playing with Ouija boards doing stuff. And we were like ended up talking about things and we shared pretty much some of the stuff that we just talked
Yeah.
about and like other things that we hadn't like talked about publicly. And then I realized like, oh shit, we talk about and like do so much more like behind the scenes that like no one besides the two of us know about.
Yeah.
Like we probably talk about 5% of what actually goes on.
Hmm. Like one of the things that we want to talk about probably in another podcast is like we astral project a lot
Yeah.
and we can like see and communicate with our astral projected selves like while we are here like now. Like
Hmm.
we would be able to talk to them because they would astral project to us in the
Yeah.
present time.
And when we told when we told our members that, it broke their
They
brains
were
a
like,
little bit.
"Excuse
Which if you
me?"
guys are watching, I love you guys. Don't worry. I think it's great.
Yeah,
But
but we just like forgot. Oh yeah, we forgot we didn't talk
Zach,
to this community about
yeah.
it. We've talked about it, but not here.
Well, I don't even
Cause
think we've like even other places we've talked about it to the extent that we do.
no.
Like, cause we,
So I want to tell people about Astral Cats. So
yeah,
get ready for that. Make sure you like subscribe or like follow whatever you do with podcasts
yeah,
because Astral Cats are fun.
yeah. I don't know. We have a lot of things we can talk about for podcasts,
There's a lot of
future
things to talk about
podcasts.
in
So
general.
get ready for those, cause it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, so if you guys want more of this, like I said, follow the podcast, subscribe to the channel, all of the things. But let us know what you guys think we should talk about next. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Adios.
Bye.